want to have a firm, solid grip. And basketball is oblique, so you've got to have uh, fingers that your middle fingers can stretch quite a bit, pretty good bit. You also want a lot of strength in your hands so that you can. There's some quarterbacks that, in fact, years ago they used to teach quarterbacks to throw when you threw, the ball came up, and there was daylight between your thumb and your index finger and your hand. You could see light in between, meaning that you fingered everything. You had your fingers on the ball, not the flesh of your hand. You could control it better, get more spin, and that's the way people taught you to throw the football, which meant you had to have an awfully large hand and you had to have a lot of strength in your hand. So going a long way out of the way here to say that that's an important statistic. Yeah,
So when you look at it, 9 inches or so, is that is that about average? What you think when you're talking about an NFL quarterback?
I think that's pretty much uh, believed to be about average. Yeah.
Okay, coach. And the next question I have for you here, the combine. Of course, a lot of people, you read these articles and guys talking about the combine. Oh well, some of these guys don't need to go, like Joe Burrow. He can show up, but he doesn't need to throw the football. He doesn't need to do anything like that. Now we understand the level he has played at. I mean, I don't know if it could help him or hurt him there. But coach, what I want to talk to you about is a lot of people, and these aren't the big time people we talk about, but saying what is the significance, the true significance of the NFL combine?
Well, it's not geared for the first or second or third pick of the draft. To be honest with you, it's not. It's to get a realistic, measurable on all of those players, and to whatever extent they can through interviews, um, talking with other players about players, you name it. I mean, getting information, gathering information that they can on the intangibles. Now, on the measurables, they can nail it. They can pretty much nail it. There are some players that will have a pro day at their school and will redo it. For example, the 40 or certain lifts. If they feel like they didn't do their best, they'll get a chance to do it again. But for the most part, they have to nail it during the combine. And you know how fast a kid is. It's electronically and hand done. So you're not you can't everybody that comes along is not a 4-3. You know that. You knew that anyway, but you
Right.
but you prove it. I can remember. Gosh, we'd have a kid. It got to be funny because I'd ask Scott one now, what's his speed? Fofo? I heard so many fofos that I didn't know. I said, there is no way in the world everybody runs that. But you know, let's get a true time. And so a lot of teams do. A lot of teams even after that will get their own time uh, when they come to the first camps and so on. They'll get their own times on them. So it is so important. You know the strength. You know the quick twitch muscle ability that they have. You know their speed. You know so much more about them, JP. I can't even emphasize how much more you know after the combine. And if you think those interviews are absolutely essential, you get a chance to name who you want to have personal interviews with. Now, if you've got players that you've got an early round pick, let's say first through the 15 or 20 first round, you're going to pick in 1 to 20. You're going to want to talk. You've looked at your board, you've worked it, you've reworked it, and so on. There are probably 4, 5, 6 people there that you want to interview, at least that. And then if you've got the first or second or third round pick, obviously you're going to be, there are two or three there that's the only combination you're gonna want. you make sure that you've interviewed them and you've done all the due diligence that you hire people to go do at their site of their home and all that others that we've been over. So you'd learn as much as you can about them. You want to know something about the guy's personality, and you can learn a lot. There are certain questions, for example, it's not like coaches getting into a room with, and this is a private conversation that nobody else can hear. So they're inclined to give you a straight answer, pretty much a straight answer, as much as you would hope. But there are questions that you can ask that elicit certain responses that you can look out for, or may give credibility to their character. So those are the type things that go on that people don't know about. The intelligence testing. They have the name of the test escapes me right now, but they have the test where they can get a pretty good idea, or they can get their IQ, and it's a pretty good barometer of how much they're going to be able to absorb.
The
Wonderlic test, yeah, that's it, the Wonderlic test, and so all of those things. Now, you can imagine you're a coach, and the people out there listening, you're a coach, and you've got these guys, and you got a chance to get them before you, and you haven't drafted them yet. And now all of a sudden you've got all this information that you want to put together. And you put the measurables together, you put the intangibles together, and then you look at a whole person, not somebody you've seen on television or that you read about in the paper or that one scout has told you about. And he can't get all this information. You've got it all, and now you can put some things together. And you would be surprised how that board, when you get all this done, that board starts changing when you get your people back together. And those people that were rated maybe up at the top of their position or even at the top of the big board. As I've said, you always have a position board where you rate them by position. And then you have a big board where you rate them regardless of position. And it changes. My goodness, what a relief that is when you know you've done a good job, when you know that that your final grade is something that is there's no more due diligence you can do. So long-winded. That's what the combine means, and it is huge. It's huge.
I think that's perfect, though, Coach. And that's when we look at the combine as a fan. We just see what the players do on the camera there. We don't see the behind-the-scenes stuff, and we don't understand unless you've coached to a high level there. And you know, even if you've coached high school, you also know what it means to have a kid that's smart, that can handle himself, and that knows what he's doing out there as well. And I think that's important. I think you broke it down, the combine, the importance, because a lot of us here, maybe we really don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and maybe we know, okay, they take a Wonderlic test. We hear about it on ESPN. Well, what is that? What does that truly mean? How does that affect them? And you just basically said all these things, they come together, and that's why we see these boards change all the time. I think it's very important. Coach, I want to move on talking about
one thing. Let me an example. There are two or three people. I won't name them. Certainly wouldn't name their names, but where I would hear the Wonderlic test, get results of the Wonderlic test, and the equivalency of that is the IQ of a rock, and it pretty much was that they could not attain and sustain a knowledge. It just was not going to happen.
That's the Wonderlic test, Coach. I don't want to take it because I don't want to hurt my own feelings there, but it's going to be interesting to see. Listen, the combine, of course, going on starting yesterday, goes through March 2nd. A lot of fun here. If you're an NFL fan or just a college football fan, I love watching it just in general. The 40s, and of course, Coach, they talk about taking away the bench press, as they say that's irrelevant. Is the bench press irrelevant in something like this?
No, it's not.
Okay,
I don't think it is. Not at all.
I would figure strength would be important.
What do you do? Well, think about an offensive lineman. That's what you do. You bench press every time the ball's snapped. Virtually every time the ball's snapped,
Absolutely.
You bench press. The same with the defensive lineman. For the most part, you're trying to get him off you. If you don't have that type strength, uh, you're not going to play in the National Football. I can't imagine anybody saying the bench press is worthless.
That's the crazy thing is they're talking about removing the bench press. I just couldn't imagine why there. But moving on, Coach, a couple things here. The Colts owner Jim Irsay, I know one of your favorites there, Coach, says all options are on the table at quarterback right now. Now we heard the Jacoby Brissett's going to be let go. That's the rumors and everything going on now. Of course, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady. There's a million different quarterbacks. We've even heard Jameis Winston over there. Coach, with him saying all options are on the table at quarterback, is that a kind of an obvious move here? Is that where they're at right now in Indy?
Oh yeah, they're gonna move on a quarterback. You can bet on that. They were obviously a luck away, meaning the quarterback, from being in the playoffs last year. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You know how many games that went right down to the wire. They couldn't just get over the hump. A first down here or there might have been the difference in the ball game. Couldn't make it happen. All right. What I'm hearing is there's a great relationship between Frank Wright and Phillip Rivers. He coached him for 3 years out in San Diego. Now that may be the comfort level that carries this whole transaction. If it's a decision between Rivers and Brady, I can't imagine that they would pass on Brady to get Rivers, except for the fact that they may feel like Rivers has got another year or two to play over Brady. Let's just say hypothetically, Brady's got 2, Rivers has got 4, and we'll take that with the old vet, and the guy that knows our system already. So there's some smoke. There's some heavy smoke there that Phillip Rivers may be going to Indianapolis. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. If Brady's in the picture, I think they got to think long and hard about that, and I think Brady should be in the picture there. They certainly have thought about it. Now, you can bank on that.
Absolutely.
Just like
snake in the grass.
Mr. Jerry Jones is not letting any smoke rise from the Dallas plantation. He's being very quiet. So you never know. People say, "Oh, there's no way he wouldn't even think about it." You've got to be kidding yourself. He's thought about it and is still thinking about it right now as we speak.
Yeah, I agree, Coach. A little too quiet on Jerry Jones' part with all this, and we're hearing people almost trying to come up with stuff about Dak being franchised and this and that and whatever. But I agree, the snake in the grass is Jerry Jones right there, and he would love to surprise the world and get Tom Brady. And I tell you, it would be a tremendous move for Dallas Cowboys. But listen, we're up against a break. When we come back, we're going to have some more college news for you. And don't forget, 12:30, we've got the XFL show with Coach K here. You're not going to want to miss it. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Are you looking for senior care for your mom or dad but don't know where to start? Hi, I'm Joan London with The Place for Mom. Nobody knows your parent or loved one better than you, and nobody knows senior living better than the experts at A Place for Mom. They've helped thousands of families find the right place for their mom or dad.
I was so glad that I called A Place for Mom. My advisor really listened and was truly my partner in finding senior care for my dad. She went out of her way to get to know him as a person and was always there whenever I had a question.
The senior living advisors at A Place for Mom partner with thousands of families every month, listening and offering local knowledge and advice to help find the best senior living communities across the country. And it's a free service. Here's the number.
Call A Place for Mom at 1-800-471-4351.
There's a place for answers, a place for mom. Call today.
Call A Place for Mom at 1-800-471-4351. That's 1-800-471-4351.
Saturdays are live and local on Sports Call with Davis Allen and Justin Patrick.
The Astros are a joke.
The MLB is a joke as well.
The MLB, they don't know how to handle this.
Exactly.
They don't know how to handle this, so how do they handle it? Terribly.
You can't handle Pete Rose that way and then handle these Astro players this way. It doesn't add up.
It's sports talk with a lot of chill. Every Saturday from 11 to 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You can watch Coach K talk football live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. Last segment of Talk Football with Coach K is, remember, 12:30. We've got the XFL show coming up. You do not want to miss it. Great guests. We've got Oliver Luck coming on as well. Coach, I'll save the XFL talk for the XFL show. A lot of fun, though, we got coming up as well. The XFL.
Well, to have the commissioner of the league coming on,
right?
For our listeners here, I think is quite a treat. So we're looking forward to that and appreciate it.
Absolutely. And here, Coach, I want to get to a couple things here. I know we don't have too much longer, but the players seem to be split on this whole collective bargaining agreement. Of course, the Players Association, the executive group, voted 6-5 against it. Tomorrow they will vote, as all the players will get together and vote here. And reports now, we've had some big players, like we've said, J.J. Watt and those guys have said no, they're not going to vote for it. We've had some other players come on and say, yeah, we like it. Coach, this seems like it's going to be a pretty close vote. But to me personally, because I think this helps the little guy in the NFL, not maybe the big star who's already making all this money, it helps the little guy, is the practice squad players are going to make 20% more. There's going to be everything seems to be better for these guys. The owners make more money. The players will make a little more money. The playoff system, I don't know if the players maybe care too much about the playoff system, but regardless, I think that there's more little guys in NFL than there is big. I think this is going to pass. I think it's going to be close, but I think it will pass.
They're crazy if they don't. And you're right. There are more of the people that need the money. They don't. Some people say, well, how would anybody in the National Football League player need money? Well, there are a lot of reasons. Some of them may be extravagant, but for whatever reason, not everybody is floating on cash. But the ones that are can afford to, get their back up and do whatever they feel is right for the league. "Quote right for the league." They they don't really know what's right for the league, I promise you. What's right for the league is what's right for the people that have put the money up at risk and the fans that attend and watch the games. That's what's right for the league. So if you really want to do what's right for the league, there's some other things I would stop on field and off field and do what's right for the league.
Yeah, I agree here. And listen, I'm not an NFL player, Coach. You've played at that level. You understand how it is there. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I personally, as a fan, would love it. I think there's a lot of good things. When you really get in the weeds of this collective bargaining agreement, there's a lot of good things here. Moving on, well, Mike Urich signed with Texas for nearly $1.7 million a year. Now, this was the Ohio State offensive coordinator. Now he is Texas offensive coordinator. A lot of money, of course. Ryan Day has come out and said, yeah, we wanted to keep him. We tried to keep him, but $1.7 million, money talks. And when you see this here, big pickup for Texas. Their offense has been a little dead in the past years. They've had some problems, more than just the offense, of course. Of course, you get your quarterback coming back, and when you look at this, a lot of people are saying $1.7 million a year for a coordinator. Well, this kind of seems to be the norm when you talk about these big teams trying to sign their guys. Coach, I want to ask you, we look at Clemson's offensive coordinator, Tony Elliott. Right now, he'll have a larger deal in 2021 when his deal rolls over to the second year. Alabama, Steve Sarkisian came back. Well, with him coming back, he looks to be making a pretty good payday as they restructure his contract as well. And when you talk about offensive coordinators and the big-name guys with the big-name teams here, is Texas used to be the big-name team. They've kind of fallen off lately. Is this going to be the norm as we continue to go on, like the NFL players making the "it's my turn to get paid" type thing? Is this what we're going to see in college as well?
To a certain extent, I wouldn't doubt it. It's quite extravagant to say the least, and there are a lot of people that don't feel that that's an equitable use of funding. But nevertheless, you have to remember that the success, it's been proven that the success in particular of your football program determines to a great extent the amount of money that comes in. They say, well, they fill the stadium. That's a lot more than that. And they buy trinkets and they buy properties. Yeah, and it's a lot more than that. And the TV money's huge, you bet. But in addition to that, people give money to universities based on their football team doing well against a certain foe. I know that for a fact. I've told this story before, but I think it's interesting enough to tell again. Frank Broyles talking about the great coach and athletic director at the University of Arkansas. When Arkansas went from the old Southwest Conference to the SEC, they lost their longtime rival, Texas. And a lot of the guys, very wealthy people in the Arkansas family, used to come in with literally buckets of money to give to the University of Arkansas to beat Texas. When they lost Texas, those same people didn't seem to care as much about LSU, and they didn't care as much. They lost a lot of their donations. So they had to go to a marketing firm in Dallas, and they were spending, I forget, an exorbitant amount of money, millions of dollars, to help create a rivalry between Arkansas and LSU so they would have a rival and could maybe regenerate some of those dollars. But that just gives you an idea. That's one school. But gives you an idea that there's some people like that. So coaching has a lot to do with that, right?
Absolutely.
And football then drives a lot of revenue for the school. So there's an old axiom that you're only worth what the market demands. And the market is what the market is demanding right now. So do you think Alabama would want to give up Saban? No way.
No, whatever it costs.
The money that he's bringing in and some of these other coaches. And then some teams are taking a chance on putting together a great staff in hopes of duplicating that type success as a university.
Yeah, I agree, Coach. And I think when you look at Texas, of course we got to go to break here, but Texas is the big dog. They have some of the biggest they have old tycoon people that are willing to give anything. And right now, with the seasons they've had, these guys they're fed up with what the product that's been on the field. They're ready to see the old product, the winning championships and things like that. But, Coach, we got to go to a break here. We got to go to the XFL show coming up next. Special guest Oliver Luck will join us as well. You're not going to want to miss it. But listen, you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wreck.